Hello everybody, this is part 4 of chapter 12 sound. This is from the class 9 CBSE NCERT book. My name is Avantika. I hope you have seen parts 1, 2 and 3 before because this is just numericals and questions that are given at the back of your chapter. There is no theoretical explanation in this except what goes on in the questions. So unless you are here only for the questions, please watch parts 1, 3 and 1, 2 and 3 before. And as I always say, please keep your books open. In fact, here you can please keep your notebooks open because you need to solve these questions. So I hope you have something to jot down. You have a pen, piece of paper, and we'll get started. So coming to the first question, what is sound and how is it produced? So what is sound? Sound is a form of energy, right? Sound is a form of energy that produces sensation of hearing in our ears. Whenever we hear a sound, whenever there is a sound that is produced and it comes to our ear, we hear something, right? So that sensation of sound that is produced is by the energy, and that energy is called sound, right? So what will you say? Sound is a form of energy which produces a sensation of hearing in our ears. It is a form of energy that produces a sensation of hearing in our ears. How is it produced? It is produced by vibrations, right? So it is produced by vibrations of an object. Those vibrations give out certain differences in pressure and density of the particles. So we were not talking about propagation of sound, we are talking about production of sound. Sound is produced by vibrations. Okay, when an object vibrates, it produces some sort of sound. Okay. Describe with the help of a diagram how compressions and rarefactions are produced in air near the source of sound. You can make a diagram. What is a diagram? You, for example, you have something like a speaker. You say that the particles, because the sound energy goes, the particles come close to each other. You have to make dots like this, proper dots, right? They come very close to each other. This is called compression, and the place from where they have moved is called rarefaction because the density has reduced there. This is rarefaction. Then again comes a zone of compression where the particles are close by, and then rarefaction. Okay, and both of these should be similar in width as much as possible. अभी मैंने ढंग से नहीं दिखाया. Okay, so you have to show compression, rarefaction, and source of sound. Okay. Cite an experiment to show that sound needs a material medium for its propagation. What is the sound? There is only one experiment that you have seen, that you have a bell jar and you have an electric outlet which is connected to an electric bell here. It is properly sealed and there is a vacuum pump from here, and this vacuum pump is taking air, right? You have to label. Electric outlet, right? And you say that when, as you have to explain this experiment, if you don't remember, please watch the first video again. Okay, I'm just going to give it a short explanation that when, as long as there is air, you can hear the electric bell ringing, but as you switch the vacuum pump on, the particles of air keep on getting removed, and therefore the sound keeps getting feebler or weaker, right? It keeps getting weaker, and eventually when all the particles, when there is complete vacuum in this bell jar, you will not be able to hear the electric bell ringing. Okay, so this is an example that shows that sound is produced near the sound requires a material medium for its propagation. Okay. The next question is, why is sound wave called a longitudinal wave? We have talked about two different kinds of waves, right? We have talked about longitudinal and transverse wave. So what is a longitudinal wave? A longitudinal wave is one in which the particles are moving, oscillating, right? Particles oscillating parallel to the direction of propagation of the wave, right? This is the definition of a longitudinal wave in which the particles are oscillating parallel to the direction of propagation of wave, and this is exactly what happens in a sound wave, because the particles of the medium through which the sound wave is passing are oscillating parallel to the direction of the propagation. For example, if sound is moving in this direction, then particles are moving parallel to the direction of oscillating parallel to the direction of propagation of wave. That is why it is called a longitudinal wave. Which characteristics of sound helps you to identify your friend by his voice while sitting in with others in a dark room? Now, what are the characteristics that we have learned? We have learned about wavelength, frequency, amplitude, right? We have learned about loudness. We'll talk about loudness later. Loudness and stuff like that. We have also talked about tone, note, and such stuff. So, what is the characteristic of sound? How do you characterize the sound of a voice? If somebody's voice, how do you say what what is the speciality about that voice? There, every single voice has a certain pitch, which is related to frequency. Higher the pitch, higher the frequency. So, pitch is definitely a characteristic which will help you identify the friend. But there is also something called quality or timbre. Two people who have the same type of same pitch and the same amplitude can have different quality or timbre of voice. Okay, so I think this should be the characteristic of sound that helps you identify your friend by his voice while sitting with others in a dark room. Because amplitude, to chalo, amplitude is not related to the quality of sound, it is just related to the loudness, or it is related to how much of energy is there in the sound wave. Right? Wavelength and frequency are related, because higher the wavelength, lower the frequency, lower the wavelength, higher the frequency, right? So we are talking about pitch, and we are talking about quality and timbre of sound. Flash and thunder are produced simultaneously, but thunder is heard a few seconds after the flash is seen. Why? Because flash is light, thunder is sound, and speed of light is much greater. What mm, is much greater than the speed of sound. Okay, so that is why it takes much lesser time for light to reach you and a higher time for sound to reach you. Okay, next question. A person has a hearing range from 20 Hz to 20 kilohertz. What are the typical wavelengths of sound waves in air corresponding to these two frequencies? Take the speed of sound in air as 344 meter per second. What is the formula that you're going to use here? Speed is equal to lambda nu, which is wavelength into frequency, right? Speed is equal to wavelength into frequency, and therefore what is wavelength? Speed upon frequency. Okay, this is what we will use here, and we will calculate. So what is the first one? Lambda 1, 344, and what is the frequency, first frequency? 20 Hertz. So 344 divided by 20 is 17.2 meter. Okay, this is the lower length, lower frequency and higher wavelength that we can hear. This is the highest wavelength that we can hear. इसके ऊपर जो wavelength होगा, please remember, lower frequency will give higher wavelength. So anything lower than 20 hertz is infrasound, right? So anything higher than 17.2 meter will be infrasound. So this is the highest wavelength that we can hear and the lowest frequency that we can hear. Okay, please remember the difference. Okay, anything higher than this is infrasound. Lambda 2 is 344 upon 20,000. You can also divide this by 1000, but it's easier like this so that you know what you're doing step by step. This will be 0.0172 meter. This is the lowest wavelength that you can hear. Anything lower than that is ultrasound. Okay, please remember, anything higher frequency than 20 kilohertz is ultrasound, and which means it is corresponding to this much, and as frequency increases wavelength decreases. That is why if frequency increases more than 20 kilohertz, the wavelength will decrease to less than 0.0172 meter. Therefore this is the lowest wavelength that you can hear, right? This is your audible range. Your audible range is from 17.2 meter to 0.0172 meter wavelength. Okay, two children are at opposite ends of an aluminium rod. One strikes the end of the rod with a stone. Find the ratio of times taken by the sound wave in air and in aluminium to reach the second child. Now इसके लिए you need this chart. This chart is given in the second part of this video series. This is given different media में what is the speed of sound in different media. So it is given aluminium has speed of sound in aluminium is 6420 meter per second, and speed of sound in air is, in this it has been given 346 meter per second, because I think it is because at 25 degrees Celsius पे है. Normally when we take 344 it is at 22 degrees Celsius. We'll move according to this, it doesn't matter. Okay, so what is, find a ratio of times taken by sound wave in air and in aluminium to reach the second child. Now child 1 is here, this is the aluminium rod, child 2 is here. So the distance in air and distance through the aluminium is same, right? So we have different velocities and we have different, so we know distance is equal to velocity into time. We have to find the ratio of time. Now distance is the same, therefore speed, velocity, this is al and speed is, this will be equal to velocity in air into time in air. Okay, because the uh, distance is the same. Therefore velocity in aluminium upon in air. Now you have to find the ratio of air to aluminium, right? So VAL upon V air is equal to time in air upon time in aluminium. This is in subscript, okay? This is not tare. Okay, so this is the ratio that you need to find. So what will be the ratio? 6420 upon 346. This will be 36420 divided by 346 is 173 is a prime number. So this is the ratio that is given. It is to use up the space. So the ratio of time in air upon time in aluminium is equal to 3210 upon 173. Now you can't really go further than this because 173 is a prime number. So you can't really divide. And इसको अगर हम if we divide, if we come to 1, it becomes like 183210 divided by 173 is 18.555 ऐसे कुछ तो आता है. So this is the ratio of time taken. You can actually just say this, it doesn't matter if you have been given a table like this. You don't have to, I don't know if you have to remember all of this, but if you have been given a table like this, then you can just use these values and take the ratio. इसमें 346 दिया हुआ है, that is why we have taken 346, and divided by 2 you come to 173, which is a prime number and you can't divide it any further. Therefore this is the ratio of, I'll represent this in the ratio form. T air, time taken in air upon 2 time taken in aluminium is 3210 to 173. Okay, ये कर लो, नहीं तो if you take 343 344, then you will have a different answer. Okay, now on to the next one. The frequency of a source of sound is 100 hertz. How many times does it vibrate in a minute? Now when you see this, please don't get scared. Okay, it is very easy. Once you know how it is done, it is very easy. ठीक है, it is बहुत ही simple है. What is vibration? One complete oscillation is called vibration. One vibration. So how many times it vibrate or how many oscillations does it have in a minute will be the same thing. Okay, so if these are two consecutive compressions or these are two consecutive rarefactions, this is the distance covered is the wavelength and the time taken is time period. For two consecutive rarefactions or compressions, or two consecutive compressions or two consecutive rarefactions. Okay, this is the time period. What is, we have to see, this is a complete oscillation or a complete vibration. This is a complete oscillation or complete vibration. We have to see how many times this happens in a minute when the frequency is 100 hertz. What is the relation between frequency and time period? Frequency is equal to 1 upon time period. Okay, so time period is equal to 1 upon vibration, 1 upon frequency. So time period is equal to 1 upon 100, which is 0.01 seconds. Now you know the time period. So it takes, for one complete oscillation it takes, or one complete vibration it takes 0.01 seconds. So what is the simple thing you will do? Total time upon time taken is equal to number of events that happen. So number of vibrations. So total time is in a minute. So 60 seconds. So in 60 seconds, total time is 60. Time taken is 0.01. Therefore, how many times does it happen? 6,000 times. So the answer is 6,000. How many times does it happen? 6,000 times. N generally refers to the number of events or number of whatever happens. 6,000 times. This is your answer. Simple hai? Does sound follow the same laws of reflection as light does? Explain. Yes. Sound follows the same laws of reflection as light does. What are the laws of reflection that are followed by light? I'll make this, for example, this is reflecting surface. So the law of reflection is that the direction in which the sound is incident and reflected makes equal angles with the normal to the reflecting surface at the point of incidence, and the three lie in the same plane. So what is this? Suppose there is a sound wave that is incident. This is the point of incidence. This is the normal. Okay, this is normal. Normal is perpendicular to the reflecting surface. So what does the law states? That the angle of incidence made by the sound wave at the point of incidence, P of I is point of incidence, is equal to the angle of reflection, and these three lie in the same plane. Which three lie in the same plane? The normal, the incidence and the reflection. ओके, व्हाट इज द सेम प्लेन? एक्स वाई और एक्सिस पे अगर होगा तो उसी प्लेन में वो रिफ्लेक्ट होगा. इट वोंट गो फ्रॉम एक्स एक्सिस टू वाई एक्सिस और फ्रॉम वाई एक्सिस टू जेड एक्सिस. इट इज नॉट थ्री डायमेंशनल. इधर आए, इधर से आया तो इधर ही जाएगा. ओके और इधर से आया तो इधर ही जाएगा, इधर से आया तो इधर ही जाएगा, ऐसे होता है. सो दैट इज कॉल्ड द सेम प्लेन. ओके, सो व्हाट आर द थ्री थिंग्स? डायरेक्शन of angle of incidence, direction of incidence, not angle of incidence, and direction of reflection at point of incidence make equal angles to normal to with होना चाहिए, not to, with normal to the reflecting surface at the point of incidence. All of them lie in the same plane. Okay, so this is the answer. When a sound is reflected from a distant object, an echo is produced. Let the distance between the reflecting surface and the sound of source production remain the same. Do you hear echo sound on a hotter day? Now this depends, because you know that in a hotter day the speed of sound is more. So what is the correlation? Speed of sound jitni hoti hai, it is 2d is equal to v into t, and time has to be less than 0.01, not less than, more than 0.1 second, right? So distance remaining the same, time remaining the same, you just have to look at the velocity. Now the echo sound, do you hear echo sound on a hotter day? If the velocity, if the distance between the object and the reflecting surface is large enough for the time to be greater than 0.1 seconds, even when the velocity has increased on a hotter day, then we will hear an echo, right? If the distance is large enough, अगर distance इतना ही है, for example इतना distance है, and you are hearing echo like this, so if the distance is only this much and you are hearing it after 0.1 seconds at 344 meter per second, this is normal temperature 22 degrees Celsius, उस पे अगर आप 0.1 seconds पे सुन रहे हो, then if the velocity increases with the distance remaining the same, the time will decrease, right? If the velocity increases, the time will decrease, 0.08 हो गया, then you will not be able to hear an echo. But if the time that is taken for you to hear the first thing, अगर ये if it takes you 1 second, and by now the speed has increased, and the time that is being taken is maybe like 0.8 seconds, you will still hear it, you will still hear the echo even on a hotter day, even when the velocity has increased. So what is the answer? If the distance is long enough, distance is large enough for the echo to reach the object, that is the wait, that is the sound production, that is the source of sound production, and the reflecting surface is, so that wait, what am I saying? I mean to say that when the distance is large enough that even when the velocity increases, the time period between the reflecting surface and the source of sound is greater than 0.1 seconds, then a echo is heard. Then an echo is heard. Okay? Hmm. Don't make me repeat it. It is a bit complicated to say it. Give two practical applications of reflection of sound waves. I think you can just say something about sonar and ultrasound. Right, sonar is used to see the depth of underwater things. You can also write echolocation, but you're talking about echolocation by animals, sonar, ultrasound, ultrasonography, or echocardiogram. You have to explain this. I am not explaining this to you. Echocardiography. These two things you have to, or you can also say simple ये भी बोल सकते हो stethoscope. These are a lot of applications. Choose any two and explain them properly. Okay, explain the sonar, sound, navigation and ranging, and you have to tell that there is a transmitter, and you can find the depth of the sea. For example, this is the ship, then you can see the depth of the sea, or you can see some different that you can find the topography of the seabed, if there are hills or if there's a sunken ship or something, right? If there's a submarine present, right? So that is sonar. Then you can see ultrasonography mein you can see the internal organs of human body. Echocardiography mein you can see the heart and the functioning of the heart, right? Ultrasonography mein you can also say that you can look at the developing fetus, or if there is any developmental abnormality and stuff like that. Echolocation by bats, which helps them, bats, porpoises, rats, which helps them to uh, have prey, hunt, or to navigate. So all of these are practical applications of reflection of sound. A stone is dropped from a top of tower 500-meter high into a pond of water at the base of the tower. When is the splash heard at the top? Given g is equal to 10 meter per second square and the speed of sound is 340 meter per second. Now, this is combining two things that you have already studied. It is combining the motion ke jo laws the, and it is combining sound. So first what we have to do, we know, what do we know? We know distance. We know s is equal to 500 meter, right? At the base of the tower, right? So g has been given to be 10 meter per second square. We have to find the total time. So firstly, what we will calculate, this is a tower, this is a pond. We have to calculate how long it takes. T1 will be how long it takes for the stone to come down to the water. Because वहां पहुंचने से पहले तो splash आएगा नहीं. So first we have to calculate how much time it takes for the stone to come from the top of the tower to the water surface. So that will be T1. How do we calculate T? We know S and we know A. Okay, so we have this formula, S is equal to UT plus half AT square. Since initial velocity is dropped, it is not thrown. So U is 0. Therefore, this becomes UT, this is 0. So S is equal to half AT square. We know S is equal to 500. 500 into 2. 2 from here is equal to A 10 into T square. 1000 upon 10 is equal to T square. This is 100. So T is equal to 10 seconds. T is equal to 10 seconds. Okay. So it takes T1 is equal to 10 seconds. It takes 10 seconds for the stone to come from the top of the tower to the pond. Okay. So now we know this. ये हमें आ गया. We have T1. Now what do we have to calculate? We have to calculate the time it takes for the sound, the splash, to reach the top of the tower again. This is also very simple. This is also speed of sound you have been given 340. So you know distance is equal to velocity into time. So distance is 500 meter again. Velocity is 340. We have to find T2 in this case. The time it takes for it to go up. Okay, so this is T2. So what is T2? T2 is equal to, this will be into, T2 is equal to 500 upon 340. So 500 divided by 340 is 1.47 seconds. Okay, so this is T2. So what is the total time taken? ऊपर से गिरा and ऊपर नीचे गया, that will be a total of both of these. So it will be total time taken is, or you can say T total is equal to 11.47 seconds. This is the time it takes for the splash to be heard up. Okay. A sound wave travels at a speed of 339 meter per second. If its wavelength is 1.5 centimeter, what is the frequency of the wave? Will it be audible? We'll come to the second part. Will it be audible? What it means? Sound wave travels at the speed. Now we know velocity of sound is equal to lambda nu. That is wavelength into frequency. What do we have to find? We have to find the frequency of the wave. So frequency is equal to velocity upon lambda. Frequency is equal to, what will be the frequency? Velocity is 339 upon 1.5 centimeter. We have to convert into meter. So it will be 0.015 meter. है ना? So 0.015. Nu is equal to, this comes to 339 divided by 0.015, 22600 hertz. Okay, so this is the frequency of the wave. This is the first answer. Will it be audible? Now what does it mean? Audible सुन सकते हो क्या? Is it within your hearing range? What is the hearing range of humans? 20 to 20,000 hertz. Right? But this is greater than 20,000 hertz. So what does it mean? It is ultrasonic. Is it audible? No. It is not audible because it is outside the hearing range of human beings. Okay? और एक्चुअली देयर इज ऑल्सो वन सिंपल थिंग, आपने वो वेवलेंथ का भी देखा है. इट इज फॉर यू टू नो. आपने देखा था कि एनीथिंग 0.0172 मीटर इज द शॉर्टेस्ट वेवलेंथ दैट यू कैन हियर. ये इससे भी छोटा है ना, therefore it is not audible of course, but you have to calculate velocity frequency, therefore you have to say it like this. ये तो बस, this is just a way of cross checking. What is reverberation and how can it be reduced? Reverberation is the persistence of sound in an auditorium or other places, a persistence of sound as a result of repeated reflections of sound. Okay, the persistence of sound as a result of repeated reflections of sound. That is reverberation. How can it be reduced? It can be reduced by the use of sound absorbing materials such as fiber board or rough plaster or thick curtains or draperies, and also the seat material is oftentimes such that it absorbs the sound material. So sound absorbing, you have to give examples. Sound absorbing materials will reduce reverberation. Okay. What is loudness of sound? What factors does it depend on? Loudness of sound is the physiological response of the ear to intensity of sound. It is the physiological response of the ear to intensity of sound, right? What factors does it depend on? It depends on, it depends basically on the intensity, right? What is intensity? It is the amount of energy that is passing through a unit area, right? So that is, it depends on the intensity of the sound. It also depends on the amplitude of the sound. जितना ज्यादा amplitude and intensity are correlated. So जितना ज्यादा amplitude होगा उतना ज्यादा we will sense that it will be louder for us, right? So that is intensity and amplitude. Okay. Explain how bats use, also loudness does not depend on frequency, loudness does not depend on wavelength, right? Because if you look at that wave, right, so frequency only is the distance between them. It can be the same frequency but different amplitude. Okay, this is a higher amplitude, this is a lower amplitude. Okay, so it does not depend on wavelength and amplitude, wavelength and frequency. Explain how bats use ultrasound to catch a prey. Bats give out ultrasound or ultrasonic waves, and they are reflected from the prey or from other obstructions, and that the nature of reflection gives information about the prey size, the prey location. Okay, or the obstacle location. Here only talking about catching a prey, so we'll not talk about obstacles. So nature of reflection gives the prey size and the location, and that or the nature of the prey, and that will help the bats to sense where it is. यहाँ पे छोटा सा moth है. The bat will know that, and therefore it will be able to locate where the insect is. Okay, it depends on the reflection of ultrasonic waves that it gives off, and the reflections can be interpreted in its brain to give out the prey size, location, nature, etc. How is ultrasound used for cleaning? It's very easy. If it is an oddly shaped object, you put it in a uh, cleaning solution, and then you put ultrasound to it, you give it ultrasound waves. What happens is, because of the high frequency, the high vibrations of the particles will help dislodge any kind of dust or dust particles or uh, grime or whatever there is inside, and help it get cleaned, right? So high frequency helps dislodge. Okay, chalo. Explain the working and applications of a sonar. Now this is, I will give it to you in brief. This is something that you have to learn ही करना पड़ेगा. Working is that it has a transmitter which gives an ultrasound. It goes to the surface or wherever it is, to the reflecting surface, and it is reflected, and this reflection is received by the receptor, and this is then interpreted by electric signals, transmitted to electric signals, which are then interpreted as to give whatever information they need to be. Application is to find depth of this. You please see in part 3. Application of sonar क्या होता है? You can see the depth of the seabed. You can see the different topography of the seabed. You can see sunken, if there is a sunken shape, or you can see some abnormalities if you want to see. Even seismic ये करने के लिए to see fault lines वगैरह, ऐसे fault lines होते हैं ना, two continents के बीच में ऐसे fault lines होते हैं, तो even those can be seen. Or you can see submarines, or you can sense even submarines, torpedoes वगैरह होते हैं ना, जैसे war वगैरह में, that can also be then. Icebergs that are hidden, for example Titanic, obviously all of you know Titanic was hit by an iceberg. So icebergs are found majorly below the water, and थोड़ा सा ही ऊपर होता है. So in order to see the presence of icebergs, and all of these things, all of the underwater features can be observed through applications, or through sonar applications. Explain how defects in a metal block can be detected using ultrasound. Now what metal block में क्या होता है? They have these receptors, and they have these transmitters which give ultrasound. If there is a defect somewhere here, then it gets reflected, and it does not reach the डिटेक्टर होता है, रिसेप्टर नहीं यहाँ पे, right? So these detectors, this will not receive any signal. So now, right, so what happens is frequency of high frequency sound waves are passed through the metal, and most of them pass through the metal block to the detector. Okay, and if there is a flaw or some sort of a defect in the metal block, then these high frequency sound waves are reflected from that fault, and they do not pass, and therefore the detector does not receive any signal. Therefore, uh, since it does not receive any signal, ek to they realize that there is a flaw, and depending on which detector does not get that signal, it also shows the location of that flaw. Okay, why do we not use longer wavelength or high smaller frequency, sorry, longer wavelength or higher frequency? Why do we not use smaller frequency, not higher frequency? Why do we not use audible range में longer wavelengths will just pass through and get detected here? They will get reflected in a different way, but these, because they're high frequency, they get reflected back and they do not go to the detector. I think this is the last slide. A sonar device on a submarine sends out a signal and receives an echo 5 seconds later. Okay, so time period has been given 5 seconds. Calculate the speed of sound in water if the distance of the object from the submarine is 36525 meter. Now we know echo का क्या पता है, time period जो इतना दिया है, gives out signal and receives it, which means time for one direction is 2.5. So you can either take this or you can multiply distance by 2, because 2d is equal to v into t दिया है. This is the formula for echo के लिए, because time taken is twice, it goes and it comes back. So either you can say that one way time taken is 2.5 seconds, and then you can take d as 3625, and then you can use this, or you can do 2d is equal to v into t, whatever you want. What I'll do is I'll do it using the traditional way. So I will use this formula here. So what we will do is, I actually do it both ways so that you understand. So 2d will be 7250 meter, which is this into 2. Okay, and so 2d is equal to speed into time, therefore 7250 upon time is 5 will be speed of sound. So this is 1450 meter per second. Okay, this is the velocity. If you use the other formula, if you use the other formula where we have reduced d is equal to v into t by 2, you can also do 3625 divided by 2.5. This is a bit complicated इसलिए, but the answer will always be 1450 meter per second. Okay, please remember you have to multiply. अगर ऐसा है, distance is given, so you have to multiply it by 2. ठीक है, please remember this. Explain how the human ear works. Human ear has a pinna which helps in collection of sound. The sound passes through an auditory canal, at the end of which is called, there is an eardrum or a tympanic membrane. This membrane, uh, due to compression, it vibrates inside. Due to rarefaction, it vibrates outside. Therefore, it starts vibrating. These vibrations are multiplied by 3 bones that are called malleus, incus, and stapes, or hammer, anvil, and stirrup. These pass it on to the cochlea. Cochlea has a cochlear nerve or auditory nerve. This is the cochlea. The cochlea converts this vibrations into electrical signal which are passed on through the cochlear nerve to the brain. This is the brain, and the brain interprets that sound. This is the tympanic membrane. Auditory canal. This is the pinna. Okay, it's very easy. बहुत easy है. Okay. बाकी ये है यहाँ पे there are things that you don't have to label. All right. So this is all that we have learned. I am not going to read this through. My voice is paining now. My throat is paining now. Produce too much sound. And therefore you if you have any issues, you should go to the part and you should see that again. Okay. I think this is part 1. This is part 2. This is part 3. Okay, if you have any problem with any of them, please read these properly and see that you have understood everything. If you have any problem, just go to these respective parts and see that part again. If you still don't understand something, you can just email us or you can just write a comment below and we will be able to explain it to you. Okay, so if you like this video, please give it a like, please give it a thumbs up below, comment on this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to our channel, and if you haven't, and if you would like to be notified every time we upload new videos, please press the bell icon. Okay, so for now I am going to bid you goodbye. I will see you for the next chapter. We are coming to the end of class 9, so this is the last 3 chapters are left. I think those are mostly health, so I'll see you for the next 3 chapters. For now, bye.